He's a stone-cold liar. I respect the presidency. I've tried to have an open hand with him, tried to work with him. You can't work with Donald Trump. You can only work for him. And I will not. I refuse to work for Donald Trump.
They don't have any faith in Gavin Newsom.
The most corrupt president in history.
Which is kind of funny because he wants to be president so bad.
That's what it is.
Wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around.
California is literally burning again. And no, it's not another Hollywood drama. Roads are cracking, wildfires are raging, politicians are panicking, and somewhere in Sacramento, Gavin Newsom is probably searching online for ways to stay in the spotlight. Enter Joe Rogan, the guy who can turn any topic into a viral roast. He steps right into the chaos like a coffee-fueled truth teller. But what exactly did he say? Did he completely lose it or deliver a brutal dose of honesty? Stick around, you're about to find out.
The Los Angeles Times Panera would not be exempt from the law. The spokesperson also denied a claim, the Bloomberg piece, which cited sources close to the matter, that Newsom pushed for an exemption that applies to businesses that bake bread and sell it as a standalone item, calling the report absurd. So is it a fake story?
Or is it something that they
might have corrected
hustled on and
course
corrected course quickly? Yeah.
Yeah. Roll up to the top. So where's the initial report? Let's find the initial report.
If you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. It helps more than you think. California's burning again, and this time it's not just another social media meltdown. Real fires, real smoke, real chaos. And somewhere in the middle of it, Gavin Newsom is giving a press conference that feels more like a wine tasting. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan, mic in hand and brain wired on caffeine, jumps right in to share his take. And it's anything but subtle.
Because why would Bloomberg spread bullshit? Bloomberg is a financial paper, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's not something...
I don't think it would be,
You really can't do that if you're running a financial paper. It's not like the New York Times. The New York Times can say Israel bombed the hospital and 500 people are killed and put it on the front page, even if it's not true. And everybody just assumes it's true because it's the New York Times. But they can kind of get away with that.
Yeah.
And then they still exist.
And by way in, I mean Rogan goes full roast mode, locked on the madness, the politics, and the nonsense of it all. Picture California as a luxury sports car, flashy, admired, and Instagram perfect. But under the hood, smoke rising, oil leaking, brakes failing, and the engine begging for help.
People still speculate that you're waiting in the wings to run for president. I know it's not going to happen. You know it's not going to happen. But what do you think is fueling that speculation?
I don't know. I don't think much anymore. And I'm so proud of the president and the incredible job he did. Didn't surprise me at all. And I know it didn't surprise you. I really believe that. I said to my friend the other day, I said, on this age, and we can get into debates around fitness. Look, I'd rather have 80 years behind me than those 88 federal criminal counts.
Joe Rogan doesn't just watch this car fall apart. He takes the keys, rips the manual from Gavin's hands, and starts pointing at every broken part. The way he tells it, this isn't simple mismanagement. It's a live comedy show featuring potholes, wildfire smoke, and Governor Newsom desperately chasing the spotlight.
There must be something to it. And it's so hard with that guy because when you just look at the way he praised Biden, I would never run against him. A man of character. Like I'm old school. It's God. It's like he's playing someone in a movie that's a crazy person. It's like that's how like a really good actor would play a complete crazy person who's insincere enough that smart people recognize it.
Yeah, Rogan's style is exactly what you'd expect. Bold, loud, and brutally honest. He doesn't quietly suggest fixing things. He tears them apart like a bad burrito stuffed with politics, red tape, and ego. Cracked roads, swaying bridges, and a state budget that looks like it was written during a cat video marathon. Joe exposes everything, shaking his head, probably muttering about how people still call California a paradise while fire trucks sit in freeway traffic. And there's Newsom again, slapping a Band-Aid on a sinking ship, surrounded by burnt eucalyptus and crushed avocado toast from a dying housing market. Still, Rogan finds humor in the chaos. He turns disaster into laughter, pointing out the ridiculousness of leaders enforcing endless rules in a state where half use solar panels, half own flamethrowers, and everyone loses Wi-Fi when wildfires trigger a smoke alarm 5 miles away.
Can't ruin a city and then go on to ruin a state and say, guys, that was just practice. Once I get it as a president, I'm going to fix it.
Wake up, America. Wake up. You will not have a country if he rigs this election. He's a lawless president. Wake up, America. Wake up to what's going on.
But he's such a great politician. I mean,
No,
he's
he's
so
not.
smooth.
I think he's terrible. And he's a good artist.
Well, I think it's pretty sick and pathetic. Everything you know about Donald Trump's America, and that was top down, you know that for a fact. Everything you know about the authoritarian tendencies of the President of the United States.
He compares Sacramento meetings to someone trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded in a storm while juggling fire. And somehow, it makes sense. You laugh, but you also think, maybe they should call a firefighter who understands math. Then comes the housing mess. Rogan doesn't hold back. He dives in head first. Rents skyrocket, people sleep in tents while mansions collect dust, and politicians claim they'll fix it all, driving Teslas on autopilot, dodging both traffic and accountability. Joe breaks it down with biting sarcasm, sharp enough to cut through the Pacific fog. He says the numbers tell the truth. Politicians don't. California's like a startup that blew its money on kombucha and yoga retreats while the servers overheated and investors ran away. He jokes about tax codes written in riddles and small businesses drowning in permit fees higher than Hollywood's catering bill. Yet somehow, everyone still cheers when a new app promises to deliver kale smoothies faster than you can say budget deficit.
Things that he says when he gets confronted with things, we're the highest this and the highest that. Like, everybody's leaving.
You will have a president who will be running for a third term. Mark my word.
You have the highest unemployment. You have the highest homelessness.
Doesn't believe in free enterprise, crony capitalism. He is wrecking this country, wrecking the economy.
You killed Hollywood. Like, Hollywood doesn't exist anymore.
Rogan's commentary blends disbelief with perfect timing, turning complex chaos into sharp, hilarious moments. And yes, he goes after Newsom's public image, too. The man looks polished and sounds confident, but Rogan calls it what it is: smoke and mirrors. While Gavin talks about progress on live TV, Rogan imagines him tripping over a pothole, not realizing it's actually a sinkhole. The comparison is gold. Rogan makes him look less like a leader and more like a contestant in a weird reality show called How Not to Run a State. And somehow, that show takes place where everyone owns a surfboard, a trust fund, and an unfinished wildfire escape plan. Rogan imagines Newsom swirling wine and saying, "We're improving," while fire trucks circle in confusion, searching for the disaster manual. Every punchline hits. California's literally burning, yet reality TV never stops rolling.
Some of the success that they're hanging their hat on is his social media campaign where he talks like Trump.
It's no longer the rule of law. It's increasingly the rule of Don.
So he's got a bunch of people from his organization that tweet for him, and they tweet like Trump, and they're saying this has elevated him in the public's eye. That's terrifying.
You've seen it across the board. People are scared to death of this guy.
He's starting to learn the internet sensibility.
It's the appalling silence. It's the complicity. You're seeing the most successful, wealthiest people scared to death of this guy.
Which is heavily trolling, does very well. What he has is a terrible record in California.
Then comes the public's reaction. Rogan highlights how far government talk is from real life. People stuck in traffic, coughing from smoke, rents going up, while officials release statements that sound like AI motivational posters. He treats it like a comedy skit that somehow became real. You laugh, you cringe, and you start wondering if maybe Joe should run the state, or at least host a podcast about broken ones. Then there's the messy coordination between cops, firefighters, and bureaucrats. A total circus. Every joke hits, every exaggeration works, but behind the laughter, there's truth. A state collapsing under its own image. And of course, the tech world isn't spared. Rogan imagines Silicon Valley leaders tweeting positive quotes while servers melt and engineers question life over oat milk lattes.
Which means it was preventable. You certainly prevent them from raging into the tragedy that they became.
Because that was a few months ago. People have short memories. They go, that tweet was fun. He did a post on X that was fun, and it doesn't matter that they let all the criminals out in California.
That was grotesque mismanagement. That could have been prevented. You can't prevent hurricanes, can't prevent floods, but you certainly can try and start reducing the moral hazard that we've allowed to explode, quite honestly.
He's bad. The people go so much further than him.
The dozens of people who've lost their lives, the hundreds of of billions of dollars worth of property damage.
That's how bad the Democratic Party is right now.
He pictures Newsom strolling through it all, politely clapping for every new gadget, as if an app for watering bonsai trees could fix a falling state. The absurdity is wild, but Rogan delivers it with sniper precision, one sarcastic line after another. He even mocks green energy projects, solar panels everywhere, electric cars flying past potholes the size of bathtubs, and power grids run by what feels like a toddler on caffeine. He nails the irony, a state so sustainable you can't charge your phone during an evacuation. Brilliant work, Governor. And yes, the housing mess shows up again, because California is both a dream and a nightmare. Rogan paints it like a twisted game show, contestants paying fortunes for tiny apartments while luxury towers sit empty, waiting for billionaires to show off their kitchens online. He jokes about politicians passing laws like they're casting magic spells, and somewhere, Newsom's waving his pen like a wand, hoping affordable homes appear out of thin air.
It's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. California has all this industry. Hey, fucko, they're all thinking about moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. If it was like every business could instantly pull up roots and replace everything and have everything running in a week at the other place, they'd all be gone.
Rogan's storytelling is so clear you can picture it. A city full of frustrated people holding eviction papers in one hand and kombucha in the other, wondering how this became reality. Then comes traffic. Chaos on wheels. Rogan doesn't even exaggerate. He just paints it honestly. Highways turned into parking lots, horns blaring, tourists lost, while politicians swear they'll fix it. And how do they fix it? With bike lanes that lead nowhere and carpool rules that sound like riddles for hyper squirrels. Rogan's sarcasm makes it feel like a cartoon. Drivers waving at drones dropping avocados, while someone somewhere demands a press release explaining why traffic's better. The scene's perfectly ironic. People turn on sprinklers in protest while politicians host water-saving talks like TED events for plants. Rogan's take is so sharp, it almost doubles as a warning.
It's too expensive. It's too expensive to leave versus what you would save and the regulations that you wouldn't have to go through and all the bullshit with all the permits and all that. What California does is over-regulate everything. They get as much government involved as possible, as much tax money out of you as possible, and then they still leave the place a mess. They still have homeless people everywhere. It's still a disaster. It's still a woke shit show of virtue signaling at every level of the government. Still. Like no course correction at all. They're going further and further into La La Land. And you're like, Jesus Christ, you guys.
And we can't skip the cultural circus. California clings to identity politics like a dog to treats. But when things fall apart, Rogan calls out how fake it all feels. Fancy vegan cafes beside trash-covered streets, rallies next to evacuation zones, hashtag activism while the power grid burns. Rogan's imaginary voice cuts through it. You can't tweet your way out of a wildfire. It's funny because it's painfully real. His humor is both soft and savage, like a ninja with perfect timing. Every law sounds like it was written by a gamer, while citizens are stuck holding the controller, unsure how to pause the chaos. Rogan slices through the performance of politics with humor so sharp, it feels like it clears the smog itself.
Governor gave this creepy speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties.
While it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance, like, I've been talking with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We've got some ideas, a speculator, we're going to have some meetings.
And the like, so we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
It's unsettling. And then Rogan tackles the protests. Angry citizens, tired firefighters, and politicians pretending to fix things while sipping coffee with slogans on the cup. He imagines Newsom trying to inspire a furious crowd holding signs like, "Where's our water?" and "Potholes eat kids." The speech somehow goes viral on TikTok, and no one knows why. Rogan's narration captures the madness perfectly. Funny, dark, and strangely real. Finally, he circles back to the governor. Newsom might talk smooth and smile wide, But Rogan tears into every policy, every promise, every press event, mixing them in his blender of sarcasm. You can picture him, sipping coffee, shaking his head as California falls apart behind him. The final line hits perfectly. Maybe it's time to replace wine tours with disaster tours.